Game 6 tonight on Fox. Shifting to our top story this morning, the news that we did all fear. Odell Beckham Jr. lost for the season with a torn left ACL. Keep in mind, this is the third significant injury in Odell's career. This one has him out the remainder of the season. Head coach Kevin Stefanski addressed the injury and where the 5-2 Cleveland Browns go from here.
And Odell, the energy he brings to practice, the energy he brings to games, you can't, no one else is going to be able to bring that type of juice. But it's our job to find the guys that can go compete, that we can go put them in spots where they can succeed. And I think we'll be able to do that. That's not easy. I don't want to have to do it. And I'm very disappointed for Odell. But that's the nature of this beast. And injuries are part of this game, and doesn't mean any of us have to like it, but we do have to deal with it.
All right, Brandon, how do expectations change now for the Browns with OBJ gone for the rest of the year?
Yeah, they really don't change much. They should actually be better. Now, this is unfortunate. Odell's a great player. It's going to be hard to replace his talent. You're going to miss him in moments. You're going to miss his playmaking ability. You're going to miss those times where it's one-on-one. You're going to miss those times where he breaks 3-4 tackles and he can possibly get you back in the game or possibly even win 1 or 2 ball games. But this team will be better because I believe there is no chemistry and no continuity. Well, we all know that there's no chemistry and continuity. When you're a dominant #1 wide receiver, you put so much pressure on the play caller. You put so much pressure on the quarterback. I experienced this throughout my career, and I had to learn how to communicate with the quarterback, how to communicate with the play caller. Because if you get in the play caller's head, they get out of rhythm, and that's not what you want. You want that play caller to feel really good about what he's dialing up. You also want that quarterback to be think freely when he's dropping back, going through the offense, going through his progressions. If he has one-on-one, he has Landry on this side, Odell on this side. Well, people are going to say, well, why don't you throw to Odell? Well, maybe the quarterback wants to go to Landry. So for that reason, I think Baker will be better. He has a guy in Higgins that he has great chemistry with going back to his rookie year. Landry is his guy. I think Baker will be better. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him to really work his offense now. But now we're going to see if he is the real deal.
So, Brandon, if Landry's his guy, Jarvis not having a bad year, but he's not having a spectacular year. And I've heard you say a wide receiver's best friend is the other wide receiver because it takes some defensive pressure off him. But so far, he's got 0 touchdowns.
That's right.
He's actually thrown for more touchdowns than he's caught. So why do you expect Jarvis to be better and not worse?
Well, it's more so about the offense. I'm looking at them having success as an offense.
Okay.
When you look at Landry, he's banged up. He has a broken rib. He's been dealing with that. But it could be because they've been they had too much emphasis on the other guy, on Odell, trying to figure out how to get him going. So when that trade deadline come up, they're not trading him. They actually find a way to make it work. So there's so many different reasons. But I want this play caller to feel free and get into a rhythm. I want this quarterback to drop back and go to his guys. This team knows that how they win is on the ground and play action, but they're going to need to win throwing the ball like they did this past week sometimes in the National Football League.
So listen, coming into this year, I expected the Browns, I think I picked them to go 10-6. I think right now 10 wins is the lowest they'll go. They maybe could get to 11 wins. They're going to be favored in each of their next 4 games, 3 straight at home. Late in the year, they get the Jets and the Giants. So they're going to be fine for this being a wildly successful season. Little context on that. In the 3 years prior to drafting Baker Mayfield, the Browns won 4 football games. 4 wins in 3 years. So winning double-digit games is outstanding, especially given the mayhem of last season with Soup Kitchens as the head coach, right? So that will be a step in the right direction. But for this to be a spectacular year, they would have to win a playoff game. And to win a playoff game, you're probably going to have to beat Pittsburgh, Baltimore, a team like that. And by the way, to have any chance of winning your division, you'd have to beat those teams. They're not good enough to just line up and beat one of those teams. The only chance they would have at beating one of those teams, Jenna, is if their superstar player has a superstar game. They now don't have a superstar player on offense. They have a good offense. They have a good offensive line. They have a good running game. They have a quarterback who can be good, but they have a superstar on defense in Myles Garrett. They had a superstar on offense in Odell, even if he hadn't played like it. With him being gone, their ability to pull off a major upset in the postseason, I think, goes close to zero.
All right, let's head down to Tampa. Bucks right now sitting at 5-2. They are tops in the NFC South. Brady playing about as well as we've seen him play in years. Meanwhile, up in New England, the Patriots postmortem continues after a second straight dud by Cam Newton and a third straight Patriot loss. 2-4 on the season, third place in the division, and more questions. Just his poor play yesterday. Take a listen.
He came and said, you know, Stidham's finisher, and I agreed, and that's what it was. It was, you know, for any type of competitor, do you feel embarrassed? Yeah, and I am as honest as I could possibly be right now. But yet it tells you. And the first thing I said, you know, to myself coming home, I said, you keep playing games like that, bro, and it's going to be a permanent change.
Brandon, this is not the way that Bill Belichick anticipated this season going, whether it was with Stidham, and obviously he thought it'd be much better with Cam Newton at this point. Do you think there's a part of him that regrets that divorce from Tom Brady, letting Brady go?
I don't know if he regrets it, but to me, this is definitely the worst decision he's made in his stellar career. When you go back to some of his all-time decisions, and we talked about this throughout the show, you know, not taking the Jets job and then walking out. I mean, that was probably his greatest moment. And then you have the whole Brady Bledsoe era, and then bringing in Randy Moss. And then you can list probably another 20 different decisions he's made from moving on from guys when they were getting up in age, the free agency acquisitions that he's been able to acquire. He's done a phenomenal job. That's one of the reasons why he is Bill Belichick. But when you walk away from the GOAT, when you walk away from a guy who's delivered 6 Lombardi trophies, that is an issue. And that was a big conversation coming into the season was, well, who's more important for the success? I would say that throughout these first 7 games, Tom Brady is showing that he was more important. Now, I don't like to be in this discussion because to me, I thought they should have stayed together. They should have never broke up this marriage because they was equally important. But if we're going to have this discussion, then numbers don't lie.
But why? But Brandon, the reason Belichick is able to have, 20 unlisted decisions plus the ones you did list on his resume is because, and Wilds, you know this, how cold and calculated he is about dollars, value, age, and potential. And Bill Belichick crunched the numbers and said, at the money Tom Brady wants, at his age, he does not give us that value. That's what makes him him. And I know Pat fans don't want to hear this, Wilds, but with or without Tom Brady, this was not a Super Bowl team.
Well, what's the goal?
So, no, I don't think Belichick regrets going with the younger, cheaper option when either way, they were not winning the AFC this year, Wilds.
That's right. We're getting into the playoffs. We're going to be hungry, tired, and beat up like a mangy dog. And you're going to look around, and we're going to play the Chiefs or somebody, and you'll be like, uh-oh, we don't want to play that mangy dog. It's like bad news. You're going to. We'll get in there. Don't worry. But I'm not looking back. Tampa's not on our schedule.
I felt bad for the mangy dog. Time for Take Your Pick. World Series Game 6. Dodgers can win it all tonight. Action starts 7:30 Eastern on Fox. Mr. Brandon Marshall, who wins tonight, Rays or Dodgers? Take your pick.
The Dodgers win. I think the Rays are going to come out aggressive like they always do, but the Dodgers bats are going to stay hot, and they're going to get the win for the very first time in 32 years. Dodgers are going to be celebrating. LA's going to be lit.
All right.
Dodgers win. Mookie Betts, big game, Nick. Probably doesn't get MVP. I wanted him to, but he's MVP in my heart.
Mookie's not going to win MVP. It'll be Seager or Muncy. It's a clean sweep. We all say Dodgers win. Dodgers win in a high-scoring game, America. Dodgers in the over. Lock it in.
Undisputed coming up next. Have a great day.